Hi, I'm here with Ed Brookmeyer, President and CEO of Bare Ground Solutions, to ask him some frequently asked questions. Ed, what is Bare Ground?
Well, Bare Ground is an all-natural, biodegradable, liquid spray-on de-icing product. We also take the same all-natural liquid de-icer and we coat a granular formulation with it to create a lower corrosion granular ice melter.
When should I use Bare Ground?
Well, Bare Ground liquid can be used before the start of a storm to actually put down a coating on the surface that doesn't allow ice and snow to bond to that surface, so that if you walk over it and you have footprints or tire tracks, it'll be much easier to get the Bare Ground product up. Now, if you put Bare Ground product down right at the start of a storm, you can reduce an accumulation of snow by up to a couple of inches. That's in most snow events. If you choose not to use it before a storm, you can use Bare Ground after a storm as a low temperature spot de-icer on residual patches.
Okay, great. And how does Bare Ground work?
Well, Bare Ground's an interesting product. The liquid product works from the bottom up, so that if you have a residual patch of snow on the ground that you're trying to de-ice, you spray the Bare Ground product on it. Bare Ground will actually go through that ice and snowpack to the surface, spread out underneath, break the bond between the ice and snow and the surface, and allow for an easier removal.
Okay, great. Do I still have to shovel and scrape?
Well, I'm afraid in almost all instances you do. You put Bare Ground product down, and when it melts that ice and snow, you have to remove that patch of snow before it has a chance to refreeze. And of course, that's somewhat dependent upon the outside temperature.
How long does Bare Ground take to work?
Well, approximately 20 minutes before it starts to work. Before you really get the full effects, it could be a half hour or 40 minutes. And then once it does have its effect, you'll just go out and you'll take the residual patch with a shovel and remove it.
Okay, great. How much does a gallon cover?
A gallon will typically give you coverage of about 1,000 square feet, which is, to put it in another perspective, a driveway that's maybe 50 feet long, 20 feet wide.
Oh, okay. And how long will it last?
Well, Bare Ground lasts approximately 7 to 10 days. And by that I mean that when you put it down on a bare surface, you'll have a residual effect, provided that you don't have any rain that occurs to wash it away, because it is a water-soluble product. But if you don't have any rain in that interim period, you can see a residual reactivation effect for about 7 to 10 days. And what I mean by that is that for that period of time, you'll see that ice and snow won't bond to the surface area.
Okay, great. Now, does Bare Ground have a shelf life?
No, Bare Ground doesn't have a shelf life. As a matter of fact, it's good to use from season to season, so you don't have to throw out any of the remaining product that you may not use in one season. Just shake it up so whatever sediments may form are mixed back into the solution, and you can use it again.
That's great. Now, where can I use Bare Ground?
Well, you can use Bare Ground on all surfaces. I mean, it's totally safe to use on asphalt and on concrete. You can use it on slates, bluestone. As a matter of fact, the largest paver manufacturer in the country is a paver manufacturer by the name of Pine Hole Brick. And they will warrant their product only if you use our formulation on their pavers.
Oh, that's impressive. Now, do I have to dilute Bare Ground?
No, Bare Ground should be used full strength. You don't have to dilute it in most applications. The only time that we might recommend a dilution, a 50-50 dilution of Bare Ground with 50% water, is if you're trying to apply it to a tree outside and you want to try to prevent some type of frost or ice damage to that tree or bush.
Okay, now, this product sounds great. Can I apply it to my car's windshield?
Well, it's certainly not going to harm your car. Because it's a non-corrosive product, it's not going to do any damage to automobiles, to windshields, to your wipers, to your undercarriage. But there is a viscosity to it. And because there is a viscosity to it, it's a little bit of a tack, and it is a sort of yellowish color, we felt that it might look unsightly on the car.
Okay, great. Now, you mentioned trees. It can be used on trees and shrubs?
You can use it on trees and shrubs. Again, water it down 50-50. There have been some orange groves in Florida that have actually tested the bare ground product by spraying it on oranges to prevent frost damage. So it's certainly, it's not going to be harmful. The runoff actually can be a fertilizer.
Oh, great. Now, will bare ground work below zero?
Well, bare ground can work to about 20 degrees below zero. But when you get down to temperatures that are that cold, you have to be very careful and watch it, because what happens is it does its job, it melts, but because the air temperature is so cold, it can be subject to a quick refreeze. So if you're using it at those kind of low temperatures, just make sure you clean everything off quickly. As a product though, if you left bare ground outdoors, you can leave it there safely without having it freeze till about -70 below.
Wow, okay. I hope it never gets that cold.
We all do.
Okay, how do I realize the optimum results using bare ground?
Well, as I said, you can use bare ground 3 different ways. If you're home at the start of a storm, you can probably reduce an accumulation of snow by up to a couple of inches by going out and putting a misting coat out on the surface that you want to apply to. Now, a lot of people are at home when snows occur, or it happens in the middle of the night. So then the best way to use the product after that is to do your normal plowing or shoveling. And then whenever you have a residual patch, you can just apply bare ground to that residual patch and de-ice with it.
Can I apply it before a storm is coming?
Well, you certainly can apply it before a storm is coming. If you apply it hours in advance of the start of a storm, you'll put down a non-stick surface. If you use it right at the start of a storm, you can expect in most circumstances to see a reduction in the accumulation of snow.
Now, what happens when I come inside? Will it stain my tiles and carpets?
No, I don't think you have to worry about that at all. Bare ground is a non-corrosive, non-staining, water-soluble product that is not going to leave any residue that can't be wiped up with a sponge.
How do I apply bare ground?
Well, you can apply bare ground with any type of hand pressurized sprayer or a battery-powered sprayer or a backpack sprayer for that matter, provided that the sprayer has an adjustable nozzle which will allow you to go from a finer mist to a thicker stream. Remember, you want a finer mist if you're going to be coating a surface, an entire surface. You want a thicker stream if you're going to be de-icing a residual patch. Because it's water soluble, you don't want to put a fine mist out on a patch of ice and snow. You want to concentrate the stream.
Okay, I think that answered my next question, which will it work effectively on thick plate ice?
Well, actually, thick plate ice has some difficulty, because if you have ice that's an inch thick, the product works well and it begins to melt that ice. The more water it creates, the more it dilutes the solution. So you have what they refer to as a dilution of solution effect. What we recommend is, if you have thick plate ice, use our liquid de-icer in conjunction with the granule product. So you put the granule product out so that it will create pits in the ice, and then you put the liquid out, and the liquid de-icer will go through that pitting down to the surface level, spread out underneath, and it will break that bond and allow you to remove it quickly and easily.
Great. Are there any cautions in using bare ground?
Well, the only caution that we have on our label is that if the temperature is over 35 or 36 degrees, don't anticipate that the temperature is going to fall and that it's going to snow. 2 reasons. Number one, it's what they call hydroscopic, which means it will pull moisture from the atmosphere. And if you accidentally over-apply it, and it does pull moisture at 36, 37 degrees, it might get slippery. However, there's another aspect to it also. Bare ground is a product that is not inexpensive, and I don't think you want to waste it by using it in a situation where instead of snow you might be getting rain. Because if you get rain, it's water soluble and it's going to wash it all away.
Okay, great. One last question that's very important to me. Is it safe around pets and children?
It's safe around pets and plants and shrubs and grass areas and watershed areas, and certainly it's safe around children and people of all types.